Hello guys and welcome to today's tropical update, and in this update we're going to be talking about potential tropical cyclone number 4, which is now down to a yellow mark, and then we got this 020 area of interest here near the Cabo Verde Islands that could have a chance of forming in the next 5 days. So right now we're going to take a look at potential tropical cyclone number 4. Maximum sustained winds are at 30 knots or 35 miles per hour. Minimal central pressure is at 1,010 millibars. It's located at 24.6 north, 97.6 west. It's moving northwest at around 14 miles an hour. The formation chances have been dropping pretty steadily throughout the day. We are now at 2020 for 48 hours and 5 days, which in reality it should be really 0-0 because it's pretty much moving inland right now. We also have this tropical wave here in the eastern tropical Atlantic. It is a tropical wave located near the west coast of Africa that is producing disorganized showers of thunderstorms. Environmental conditions are expected to be marginally conducive for gradual development of the system while it moves westward to west-northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour across the eastern and central tropical Atlantic during the early to middle part of next week. We're take a look at the 5-day cone here, and as you can see, once it gets past the Cabo Verde Islands, this is where it's probably going to try to have a chance of developing in this formation area. So we're going to have to see how that pans out. But we will go over that a little bit later. Let's take a look at the IR loop here for potential tropical cyclone number 4. And as you can see, it's not very healthy at all. I mean, yesterday you could have said, this could have had a chance, but it didn't deliver during the diurnal max cycle in this morning, and well, it's not looking all that organized right now. As you guys can see, it's pretty much moving inland right now as we speak. There's probably going to be some heavy rains for a few hours in these spots, but then it'll probably just go away after that. And some of this moisture is going to plop north into Texas, where it's probably going to meet a frontal boundary in places like Central and South Texas. Well, not South Texas, but central parts to southeastern parts of Texas could see some beneficial rain, but a lot of rain at that. But that's a discussion for somebody else to talk about, because here we like to talk about the tropics. All right, so we can get rid of this actually. Now we're going to take a look at the GFS here, because we got a few things to talk about here. This was initialized at 18Z, so this is the newest run. And I want you to pay attention to this area right here. So we're going to head out through time, and as you can see, it starts to organize just a little bit as we head out through time. We're at 1,008 millibars for the system. And the sounding is 11 knots and 74 knots a shear. So the environment right now isn't too bad here. So now we're going to go out to 48 hours. We're at 1,007 millibars here. And we got 8 knots of shear, but the relative humidity isn't that great. It's at 68%. So it's probably going into that dry air that's there at the current point in time. 5 knots of shear and 67% relative humidity. Now, see, the shear is fine. If it wasn't for the relative humidity, this thing would probably be all right. But there is tons of dry air in the vicinity of the Atlantic Ocean. Now we're at 8 knots of shear and 59% relative humidity. So the dry air is just getting worse here. That's why the NHC calls for marginal conditions as we head forward. Marginal meaning it's not all good, but it's not all bad either. And obviously you see that case here when you see this 8 knots of shear here. And that's probably what is helping this to kind of strengthen just a tad bit as we head forward. And then we're at 1,005 millibars here. And we're at the shear is starting to creep up a little bit, and the relative humidity is not very good at all. So this is the 5-day time frame, and then you can see over here near the Cabo Verde Islands, this is going to be the second wave that we're going to have to look at here as we head out through the next week or so. So we're going to take a sounding here and see how it is. We're looking at 13 knots of shear and 82% relative humidity. So that has some pretty good environments, and it's because of this leading wave right here. It's pretty much going to eat up a lot of that dry air as we head out through time. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the European here for the 12Z. We're going to go to Tropical Atlantic. And as you can see, it really doesn't do too much with the 020 wave. But then, as you can see here, by hour 1:26, we went an extra 6 hours here just to take a look at this system here. And we're going to take a look. We're looking at 7 knots shear at 69% relative humidity. So, you know, it looks like it's kind of a reverse a little bit here with the European and GFS. GFS being a little bit more favorable for wave number 2, and European, from the get-go anyways, is not very supportive of wave number 2. Actually, you know what? We're going to take a look at the icon too while we are here, since we got the time. We're going to go to an 18Z icon. We're going to go here. As you can see, it tries to do something with the 020 wave, but it doesn't exactly do much with it. It's not until you see this spot right here at 81 hours. That's a lot of moisture there to contend with. And as you can see here, the icon at 120 hour mark forms the system into a 1,005 millibar weak tropical storm. So we're going to see, I don't think we can look at all that. So we got, okay, we can't look at the relative humidity on this thing, but it does form the second wave coming off. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the NOAA Coral Reef Watch sea surface temperatures anomalies here, and where we have this area of interest. Yeah, there's warm waters. We can definitely see the warm waters here. We're looking at anywhere from 26 to 27 degrees Celsius waters here. Now, it's ideal to try to stay in the 27 degree isotherm here, because once you get into the 26 degree isotherm, that becomes a marginal situation there. So not only that, but the ocean heat content in those 26 degree isotherms is not really all that great either. But I think that's more of a case in point of a storm that is not moving all that well to upwell more of that cooler water. But as it heads out through time, maybe the 5 to 10 day time frame, which obviously we don't look at those in the modeling because it wouldn't make sense. But if it makes it that far, we're going to be looking at 27s for a pretty good chunk here. So we're going to have to watch these waves closely over the next 5 to 7 days to see how they react and what they do. All right, so the last thing we're going to look at is the tropical cyclone heat potential. And like I said, here where these systems are going to form, they do got some heat potential here, but it's not all that great. We're talking about anywhere from like 10 to like 40 heat potential here. So they don't have a whole lot of that to work with until they get a little farther west. And like I said, that's going to be something we're going to have to watch with our own eyes over the next week or so. So with that being said, potential tropical cyclone 4 is making landfall in Mexico right now. You might see some flooding rains in Mexico, but at the end of the day, it's probably not that. I shouldn't say that, but I think it's not going to be a prolific flood threat, is what I mean to say. So with that being said, tomorrow we will be back with another video, and I hope you guys enjoy your guys' day and keep on watching the tropics. It's peak season. It's time for the bell to ring for that August 20th. This is the climatological peak ramping up of the season. Anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.